before I get into the challenges, I wanted to give a little bit of background on Heal the Bay and what we do as an organization. So we do a lot of different things. We have a lot of programs centered around science, like the programs I run where we collect water quality data and do water quality sampling. So we have scientific programs. We also have educational programs. So we have summer camps. We educate high school students, elementary school students. We have an aquarium, which is a pretty interesting educational tool for us. We do community action, so we mobilize volunteers for doing beach cleanups or helping out with our advocacy work, and then of course we ourselves, staff members, do advocacy work as well, trying to convince decision makers of making certain decisions. So challenge number one when it comes to communicating water quality information to the public is, what do these numbers mean? On the left side, you can see a table of water quality data, which I would say is pretty typical of what beach monitoring agencies post on their websites. You have the beach name listed, and then you have some FIB concentrations here, and then it has beach status, open or closed. So this isn't necessarily intuitive for a lot of people, and this is information that isn't really going to reach a lot of people. So what Heal the Bay has done to address this challenge is we've created the beach report card. We've been doing this for 30 plus years now, so the beach report card has been around, but it's how we address that issue. And what we do is we boil down all this information, we crunch the numbers and turn it into a grade, a letter grade, and smiley faces, which we feel are more intuitive for people, and it's something everybody would understand. And we provide these grades on a map. So here's a little screenshot from our website. So if you zoom in on locations on the map, you can see your specific beach that you want to go to, and you can see the grade with the smiley face. And you can click on a beach and get even more information. So you can see the grade there. We do wet grades as well. And then we offer all the historical grades going back, so you can see what the water quality typically is at this beach. So that's a challenge that we have addressed, and it's not a perfect solution to those issues, but it is something that we've addressed, and kind of leads me to challenge number two, which is the lack of data standardization when it comes to water quality data. So if you saw on the map that I showed you a few slides earlier, we aggregate data from all over the West Coast and issue grades for all of those beaches. So we're dealing with a big patchwork of government agencies and monitoring agencies, and they do things differently, and that leads to issues because the beach report card is only as good as the data that we get. So we run into issues when there are differences in like sampling time. So if an agency is collecting earlier in the week versus other agencies that collect later in the week, we don't really have the bandwidth to continuously update our grades, so we run into issues there. Data upload time is another challenge. So it's one thing to collect your sample and process it in a timely manner, but we get data sent to us, and we rely on databases to access that data. So the lag time in generating the data and uploading it can cause some issues for us as well. We might the grades might have some outdated data. In other words, this is the next one is kind of a small thing but a big thing. Data formatting. It's a simple thing. Just when we get sent data, it's going to be in all different formats. The Excel sheets are going to be in different formats. The PDF files that we get sent are different from that. So it's hard for us to create like a tool, an algorithm that can read all of those and put the data into a format that we need. And then finally, another standardization hurdle that we encounter is the different regulatory programs under which bacteria data is collected. So most of the data in the Beach Report Card program is data collected for recreational water quality, but we would also like to add other data sources in there as well, like TMDL data. And that's difficult because all that data lives in a different place. So one way we've kind of addressed this issue, some of these issues of like lag times and standardization, is that we issue a grade once a week because we're getting this patchwork of we're using this patchwork of data sources through email, databases, agency websites. We issue grades once a week, which gives us time to aggregate all that data. It gives agencies time to get us their data. So we do weekly grades, which water quality can change very quickly. So the grade does offer a lot of good information, but it might not be as good as like a daily grade or something. So one other way we've addressed that issue is we have started doing predictive water quality modeling. So we've been predicting water quality at beaches in California for about 5 years now, and it's called our NowCast program. And we predicted about 25 beaches in the summer and 5 to 10 in the winter, and we placed those predictions on our Beach Report Card website, which I've screenshotted here. And you see we use different symbols for these just so they don't get confused with our grades. Although, we do need to do some work and figure out if this is causing more confusion for people. And instead of the grade, we kind of have this binary, good, bad system. So it's blue means that it's under the limit, red means it's over the limit. And the way we predict water quality is we collect environmental data from online resources, online databases, from CDIP buoys, which you see up here, collecting wave data and water data. We get stream flow data from the USGS. We get rain gauge data, and we also get wind speed, wind direction, air temperature data as well. So we collect all this data online, and then we look for correlations between that environmental data and the bacteria data, which we have in our Beach Report Card database. So we look for the correlations, and then we see which environmental variables are correlated with bacteria, and that way we can predict water quality. We can train an algorithm to predict what the water quality is based on the environmental conditions that day. So this is one solution we've come up with to address those time lag issues. We could do this prediction every day, so that way we're providing people, beachgoers, with this daily information. Unfortunately, predictive water quality modeling does come with its own set of challenges. These are not my overarching challenges. Think of these as like sub-challenges. So when you're predicting water quality, there is a limited amount of variables that you can use. There are some variables we just don't have data for. Like I would love to be able to put bird count data into a model, but that data does not exist. Data availability / upload time is also an issue. We're doing a daily prediction, so if a database is not getting updated daily, then we can't use that data, unfortunately. Every now and then there are equipment malfunctions which are out of our control, so maybe a wave buoy goes offline or a rain gauge stops working, and we can't predict at that beach that's using that data source. And then Because we use the beach report card database in our predictive modeling, there are some of those beach report card challenges inherent in the NowCast challenges. So, but particularly with data upload times. So we like to test our models frequently and make sure that they're predicting accurately. And in order to do that, we have to kind of compare them to the actual samples collected. So we like to get those real samples in a timely manner so we could test our models. So I'm going to move away from some of those scientific challenges and get into some of the other work that Heald Bay is involved in that I kind of touched on earlier. We go beyond just providing people with this water quality information. As an organization, we want to make sure that water quality is improved and conditions get better and safer for people. So we advocate for water quality improvements. It's one of the main things that we do. And we face a lot of challenges with this. One of the challenges is this is a very time and energy intensive thing. For staff members, we have to wrangle volunteers and get them mobilized out there doing advocacy work. We have to write comment letters. We have to write blog posts, social media posts, show up to events and spread the word and get people energized. So advocacy is difficult. The next two things are kind of grouped together. Advocacy work is also difficult because we don't always see eye to eye on with the decision makers on some of these water quality improvement projects. So we advocate for nature-based water quality improvement projects. That means a project that includes some sort of greenery and will be multi-benefit for the community and wildlife. So we really push for those types of projects. However, people don't always see our side of things and might prefer a gray project, a concrete and metal infrastructure project. And related to that, we also advocate for a whole watershed approach when it comes to addressing water quality issues. So we think that these nature-based projects should be dispersed throughout the entire watershed, and water quality should be addressed that way instead of maybe identifying the problematic storm drain outfalls and putting a BMP in those places. So to give you an example, on the right here, you can see a picture from a storm drain. This is a colleague of mine collecting a sample from this storm drain that flows into the LA River, which would be behind the perspective of the photographer here. And this storm drain flows probably every day of the year, and the bacteria concentrations are always above the EPA limits. And, yes, you could put a BMP in here and clean this water up, but we would like to see this pollution addressed maybe more at the street level and, elsewhere. So clean up that water before it gets to this point. We have had a lot of successes over the years. Heald Bay has been around since 1985, so we have had a lot of wins with regard to water quality advocacy, and I'll highlight a few here. So on the left, this is a little poster we made for our campaign to pass Measure W in Los Angeles County. And what that measure did was it set aside some tax funds that would be able to be used for water quality improvement projects. On the right, here are two beaches that historically had chronic water quality issues, really bad water quality, but our beach report card was able to kind of shine a light on these beaches and get some attention for them, and they have since been cleaned up. And there have been projects at these places, policies put in place that have cleaned up the water quality. So this is the Colorado Lagoon on top in Long Beach, and this is Avalon Harbor on Catalina Island. So those are two successes of many others. And then that leads me to challenge number 4, which is the last challenge I'm going to talk about here, and I've kind of defined this as spreading awareness. We run into a lot of challenges in spreading awareness, getting the word out about water quality and educating folks about it. So the number 1 challenge here is, are people using the Beach Report Card website and app? Good question. We can measure the number of people visiting our website and downloading our app, but there are a lot of questions that remain, like, are people following the grades? Do people find this information useful, meaningful? What are the demographics of those people? Are they young? Are they old? Are they swimmers? Are they surfers? So there are a lot of metrics there that we don't know and we would like to. So that's definitely a hurdle we have in front of us. 2, advocacy and outreach can be difficult, especially right now. So if we're trying to get more people to use the Beach Report Card and NowCast, we have to get the word out, and advertising takes money and resources that we don't necessarily have. We are a nonprofit, so we rely a lot on word of mouth. So we rely on our volunteers to spread the word. We show up to events and try to have one-on-one connection with people and spread the word that way. And the pandemic has certainly impacted that.
Just
and then, sorry?
Just about another minute.
Okay, thanks. Great. And then finally, the last challenge under this category has to do with beach accessibility. So I've bolded this because I want to highlight this one in particular. So we need to pay special attention to those communities that have limited access to the beach and limited comfort in the water. So as an organization, we want everyone, regardless of their identity and background, to experience the benefits of the ocean and to do so safely. So it's not enough for us to just make these tools and put them out there. We want to make sure that we're reaching everybody and make sure that everybody is a stakeholder in water quality. So that is a big challenge in front of us as well. So to wrap up, I'll just quickly go through the summary of the challenges that I went through. First challenge, transforming that water quality information into a digestible format. That's a challenge that we've addressed with some good success. The lack of water quality data standardization and availability is another issue, and it probably always will be as long as we're dealing with a wide array of agencies collecting the data. Advocating for water quality improvement projects, big issue, like I mentioned, very time and energy intensive for an organization like us. And then finally, increasing water quality awareness and improving accessibility is a big challenge, particularly reaching those communities that we haven't necessarily been in contact with. So that will conclude my presentation, and I will take questions.
Great, thank you very much, Luke. Luke, you're up.
Thanks. Yeah, I think I identified a number of intersections here between my challenges and the other speakers. So Julie mentioned funding, which I think is a big issue, especially when we're talking about when we advocate for water quality improvement projects. There needs to be funding for that, and yeah, that's a major challenge for us. As I mentioned, we had that big campaign a few years ago in 2018, Measure W in Los Angeles County. It takes a big thing like that in order to get funding available for projects like this. So it requires a lot of effort. That's going to just continue to be a hurdle we're always facing. And of course, when it comes time to actually get those projects implemented, as Julie mentioned, there's all those competing interests. So we're only one voice at the table. we're only one voice on the steering committee for Measure W, so there are a lot of other people, speaking up and trying to get their side of things heard. So we try to we try our best, but it doesn't always work out for us because of those competing interests. And also in terms of water quality improvement projects, like as Oren mentioned, there could be better ways of measuring bacteria or measuring fecal pollution. And if we are going to advocate for certain projects, we want to make sure those projects actually work. So we're going to need better ways to measure the pollution. What type of green infrastructure is best, or what type of BMP is best? We need those questions answered as well. And then, increasing water quality awareness and improving accessibility. This one is a really crucial challenge because we need a lot of support. We rely on public support to do what we do, to get Measure W passed, to have people have people speak up at city council meetings or county board of supervisor meetings. We need community members and volunteers involved in all of that. And in order to do that, we need them to care. We need them to care about water quality. We need them to understand the issues about water quality and have them become a participating stakeholder. So that's just a big challenge that we face and one that we work on every day. I think that kind of wraps it up.
Okay, great. Thanks, Luke.